live, y'all, on all the platforms. So tell your mama, your friends, your dentist, all of them. You're gonna have a little bit of a camera in this, but that's okay. So we're on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, uh, Twitch, all of it.
I love Twitch.
You use Twitch? I never really started using it.
I have explored it just because, there's a whole community online that are on there, and it's just like I feel like it's important to know what's happening.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not using it,
Wasn't it started as like a gamers thing though at
It's
first?
definitely a gamers thing.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, like I think it's still primarily like super gamer.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all right. That's all right.
But it's a growing, platform.
100%. 100%. So yeah. All right. I want to make sure I'm not picking up. You got your phone down? I got mine down.
I do.
Cool. I think I'm just kind of like some weird shit, but good stuff. All right. Well, what time is it?
No watch.
Look, say 7 o'clock. So I guess we better get started then, so we can get you out of here and on to something sexier than sitting with me.
Some dinner.
You want to get some dinner?
Yeah.
All right. With
Nope, at my house.
Okay.
I cooked.
I just thought I'd be nosy real quick.
Leftovers.
Look, somebody told me that I'd be hanging leftovers for too long.
So there is a thing about bacteria growing on food after a certain period of time.
Dang, you sound just like her.
It's the truth. I mean, because I've held on to leftovers too long.
How long do you?
It really depends. You know what I mean? Now,
is a week too long?
I will eat a week personally.
I think a week is fine. Yeah.
But this is what I've started doing. So I got this cookbook that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about like meal prepping and like healthy food. And this woman, like her whole philosophy is like you can freeze anything.
Okay.
So if I am eating something and I don't eat enough of it quickly enough, I now and you can pull it out and you can thaw it, and 9 times out of 10 it's fine, totally fine, just the way that you left it.
Yeah, my grandma freezes everything.
Yep.
So I guess it's something to that old Mississippi way. Let me turn the volume off on that computer. I'm glad that just happened.
Yeah. No, totally. You can freeze everything. Seriously.
All right, cool. Y'all let me know too if y'all can hear us on all the things, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all that. Everything looks to be good on this screen we got going over here, but still, I want to make sure. All right, were you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, I'm gonna start recording over here then.
Yay.
And we are recording on Restream. All right, 3, 2, 1. Let's do it.
Okay.
All right, y'all. So welcome to the Green Route, the relaunch, the revamp, the whatever. I don't know. It just happened to be the day after Indictment Day, so I feel like the Lord is with us.
This is a celebration.
It's a celebration. Yeah, man. So we took a little bit of a break. GS is still with us. He will be a reoccurring guest, so I wanted to point that out because I know a lot of people were asking. But yeah, he is starting a really amazing media company called Allison Oak that he is focusing on, as well as Black Canvas growing a lot. And so, yeah, I decided to kind of take the reins and invite some of my most favorite people to co-host with me, but you all will see GS again. So speaking of some of my most favorite people, y'all, not only is she my line sister, and that's actually what brought us together, the impeccable Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, who actually just got Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson.
That's right.
Did you know about that?
I did. I heard about it when it happened.
I saw a picture and was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, the whole lineup was really fire.
Who else was on it?
There was Deborah Lee, I believe.
From BET CEO?
Yes,
okay.
She was on there.
Got
There's
it.
a whole bunch of people. Let me not misspeak.
Okay.
But
she a little light skinned for us, but it works. I thought AKA was gonna pick her up.
We have a whole lineup, and I do not want to misquote. If I could get to my phone, I could have the list.
Okay.
But we have a whole lineup of really phenomenal women.
Look.
I think I want to say it's the president of like MSNBC or something like that.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
Something like that.
Okay.
First
of all, I didn't know the president of MSNBC was a sister, so that's different. That's different for me.
That's a new thing.
Yeah. Well, no, when you said we have a whole lineup, we obviously have Laura K. Wise, who is, how long we've been in this thing now? 12, 13 years? Something like that. 12 or 13 in Delta. But yeah, y'all, she is my line sister, but also probably one of the people who told me never write anything for free again, and got me into the freelance world. So she is a communications guru. She's a owner and founder of Content Wise Communications, as well as the BFF network, a network for Black female freelancers who are looking to really take control of their careers and their lives and the type of work that they want to work on. So yeah, freelance contractor, consultant, and she's super passionate about helping women to really create the life that they love. And I can say that I've seen Laura do this in that she's lived all over the world. She's traveled all over the world. She's worked all over the world, like laptop on the beach type of deal, and she's teaching women how to do that. So I got Laura K. Wise with me, y'all.
Yay.
One of my favorite people in the world, I promise y'all. And she's fly as the fuck. Who comes in just like on some like, hey y'all, I'm here to record. Like, really? You had to do me like that?
I mean, girl, this is simple. This is a simple look I pulled together today.
Really? Okay.
This is a simple look.
I'm here for it. So yeah, we out here. Laura, what's been going on with you? What you got going on?
Ooh, how much time do we have for that question? I feel like lots has been going on. I am in a period of life where things are changing.
Okay.
You know, I think seasons change often for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to reframe this as like, oh, this season has not been a bad season. It's just been a season where I've had to reevaluate and like step back so I can come back better, you know, than I was before. So things are actually really good. I feel good. I feel blessed. I feel like I'm living my best life.
That's awesome.
I'm soft life, which is most important.
I love that.
I'm tapped into my soft life.
Come on, soft life. You tired of being a big dog?
You know, I feel like there's a balance.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I'm learning in this season. I think this season has taught me that you got to do both sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just be like, you know, hitting it 24/7 because you get tired. You burn out, and I definitely burned out. So, I'm working out. I'm eating well. I am vacationing. You know, I'm also still working hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's not get that twisted because I got to pay the bills. But also,
and the bills are only going up. They only getting more expensive.
Keep coming. They don't stop coming. So, yeah. So
I love that.
Overall, I'm good.
I love that. Mm-hmm. I love that. Well, I always love to see us win. And you know, specifically when us is attached to me, it's even better. So yeah. All right. Well, yeah, let's go on and get into this politics so we can cuss and drink liquor. By the way, Laura got here and I was sipping on some moonshine. That
real moonshine, y'all.
A very good friend of mine brought from Greenwood, Mississippi. And yeah, I feel like all my troubles have been cured by drinking this moonshine. You know, that's what they say. Mm-hmm. Like if I had any type of infection or ailment, it is gone now.
It is.
With this moonshine. Allergies, just sniff it and that's good. If you got a cold, you know, just knock a shot back. It may hurt, but it's good. And then Laura is drinking on what you got over here? Some wine.
Some wine. I opted to opt out of the moonshine.
Okay, smart.
Yeah, but I do have some wonderful red wine here.
I love it.
So it's happy hour.
I love it. All right. So if y'all hear some cussing with the politics, it's because of the liquor. All right. So let's go on and hop into these 5 things, y'all. First things first. So I don't know if y'all have seen the HBO movie about Henrietta Lacks. The woman whose cells, and I literally mean her body cells, right, are apparently at the base of so many medical breakthroughs. So the story goes that in 1951, I believe, Miss Henrietta Lacks went into one of the few hospitals that would treat lower income African Americans. She was complaining of vaginal bleeding. So she went to Johns Hopkins, actually, and they saw her and they found a tumor. And so they, you know, took I guess, a culture of the tumor to see what was going on. And after doing a bunch of testing, they realized that she had some very special things going on with her cells, in that apparently they could replicate themselves at like a greater rate than the majority of us. From there, I mean, medical breakthroughs became crazy, and her cells, do they call them lac cells, I believe, or lac?
Something like that.
Yeah, yes. So I believe the lac cells have been used in everything from vaccines to you know, cutting edge treatments. So her family not only wanted to tell the story, right, of this woman who had her cells taken without her knowledge. I want to point that out, right? This was without her knowledge. She did not know that her tissue, her cells were actually being tested on, or that they were even taken. So her family wanted to tell the story. I believe it was Oprah Winfrey found out about the story and was like, "Ooh, let's make a movie." And HBO ended up making this film, which I think taught a lot of us about who Henrietta Lacks was, and, you know, what she had done for modern medicine. But her family also came back and was like, "Hey, whoa, she never gave you consent to test on her cells, to take her cells, or anything like that." And so the family lawyered up.
Of course,
and
with Ben Crump.
Yes, yeah. Okay. Ben Crump is just doing what Ben Crump does. Wait, I saw him somewhere else today. No, it was the Henrietta Lacks thing. I'm tripping. Yeah. But yeah, like Ben Crump, I mean, where did he like a few years ago? He just kind of appeared on the scene, and it was just like, damn.
He's taking all of these heavy hitter, you know, cases.
Yeah. And doing a great job. Like, he's getting some really big wins for folks who really need to find justice. And I think also setting precedent for future cases, wherein, you know, we're seeing, you know, things like people getting pulled over for no reason and killed, right, with their hands up and things like that. So Ben Crump really is at the forefront. So the family lawyered up and ended up settling with the biotech firm that took the cells, tested on them, created all these amazing vaccines and cures to things. And yeah, now the family is apparently going to be living their best life. But Laura, one thing that really made me think about is the distrust in the U.S. amongst communities of color, and I could say even LGBTQ communities, women, Native communities, right? And the fact that a lot of the time we are at the center of a lot of this kind of cutting edge testing, and, you know, let's go into this neighborhood or go into this community and test this thing. And then they wonder when something like, you know, COVID-19 happens, why people don't necessarily want to put their arm out to get a vaccine, because there is this massive and long-standing history of our country not always having our best interest at heart when it comes to actually curing us, rather than using us as kind of test dummies.
Yeah. So I have a lot to say about this, but I'm going to try to make it really succinct. So one thing is funny is that as I was preparing for this and I was reading like the stories in the background about this, the company that shall remain nameless that was doing the testing on her, I've actually done some work for them. And I didn't know about this history literally until today. So number one, that's a thing.
Okay.
And number two, I work a lot in healthcare these days, and in health equity specifically. And yes, it is very true that things have been done, unfortunately, to Black communities, Black and brown communities, but specifically Black communities that we can point back to. Like we all know the examples. Like we can point back to Henrietta Lack. We can point back to the Tuskegee Airmen and all these things. Yeah. One thing that I will say, working in the healthcare space right now, is that healthcare works, science works, and there is a concerted effort, I think, in the healthcare community to push a focus on health equity, and to try to right some of the wrongs that have been done. Yeah. Right? I'm working on a project right now, just really high level, that's focusing on clinical trials. You know what I mean? And like, what does that mean for Black people to get involved in clinical trials, knowing that we do have this really complicated history with healthcare? Yeah. But I think, you know, the real thing is that we don't talk about, like today, because we're trying to figure out how to get messages out there in the right way, is that if Black people do not participate in clinical trials, the diseases that we are trying to solve for, that, you know, companies are trying to solve for,
right,
are not as effective on us because they do not also have our material to work with.
that's right.
Right. Yeah. So I'm an advocate for health and science. I mean,
inclusive,
yeah,
equitable
inclusive,
health,
equitable,
and yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I mean, and I think, you know, again, like, I think we have to think about that in every way. Like, how are we marketing? You know, like, what are the materials? How are we writing them? In what publications are we talking about these things, right? Like, it's not just we need you to join clinical trials, but we need to create a more inclusive healthcare experience where Black people specifically feel heard when they're going to emergency rooms, when they're going to their doctors. Like, I have talked to people who have literally been gaslighted by their doctors. I know people who have almost died giving birth. You know what I mean? Like, so there are issues.
And even if you don't know people personally, like we hear about celebrities, right? Like Serena Williams was, I think, a big wake up call for all of us, because here's this, you know, multi-million-dollar amazing athlete who her body is her business. Literally, her body is her business. And when she told doctors, I don't feel right after giving birth to her first baby, which I think she's pregnant again with another girl, right? She is. So congratulations to her. But yeah, like, you know, she literally told these doctors, like, something is wrong. And this woman lives in her body for a living. Like, that's what she does. And they brushed her off. Like, oh, I think it ended up being a blood clot.
It was.
That literally could have killed her, right? Like, you know, and it just amazes me. And to be honest, I never experienced issues in healthcare until, crazy enough, I was in Texas and I started experiencing autoimmune issues. And I mean, when you experience autoimmune issues, your body is going haywire. You have no idea what's happening. And I remember I went to the doctor, and instead of her actually looking me over and like really inspecting what was happening, and there were outward signs that something systemic was happening in my body, she sat across from me so dismissive and was just like, oh, it's just hyperpigmentation. I was like, well, I've never had hyperpigmentation in my life, so maybe it's worth it to look into what's happening. And it wasn't until I went to another doctor who then was just like, something here isn't right. And she actually referred me to a Black dermatologist who was able to say, yeah, something isn't right here. And they were able to figure out. But it was then that I realized, like, oh, this is what these women have been talking about for so long. Because I had never seen that before. Someone that dismissive about what I'm telling you is happening with my body.
I mean, so two things come to mind. One is cultural competency, which is, you know, a huge buzzword, but like it's a real thing that is, you know, circulating its way through healthcare communities, and just making sure that healthcare providers have the training, you know, they have the background and understanding of different populations so that they're not dismissive in these ways, right? And there's a lot of training that needs to be done. I mean, you know, like, this is not by any means like we're not there. So there's training that needs to be done. And also this term racial concordance, which is a new term that I have learned recently, which is when people of color have doctors that look like them, it's just a better experience and result. You know what I mean? Like, my whole care team is Black, intentionally, incredibly intentionally. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I can talk to you in a way that I feel like you understand and you hear me. And I've also had experiences where I felt like, okay, I'm not really being heard, or I'm being dismissed, right? So I feel like, you know, when you think about going to someone that looks like you, who's a professional, you know, whether they're an eye doctor, whether they're your OB, whatever it may be. I'm going to a Black dermatologist in Cedar Hill tomorrow. So, you know,
come on, Black dermatologist, shout out to her, whoever she is.
Yeah. I don't remember her name, but we'll see tomorrow.
Shout out to the Black dermatologist.
Shout out to her. But yeah, so
that's good stuff.
You know, there's work being done. That's one thing I can say, is that these situations are unfortunate, but I am thankful to be in a space to where now I'm aware that there's work being done. And also, when you go into a doctor's office and you start talking like, oh yeah, this has happened, I've had these tests, this is where I've been before, this is my doctor, they approach you different, because they're like, oh, she knows she's talking about. I can't, you know, just dismiss her concerns. No, you can't. I'm here.
And dead ass, like, that's what this show is about, because when you are informed and when you can speak to a certain level of, you know, with a certain level of knowledge, like, people treat you differently. I will never forget like watching a friend of mine go through the justice system, and because he had people who were able to like speak the language of middle America, they treated him completely different than someone who walked in there without representation, left to kind of a public defender. So not only healthcare, like when you are informed about how the system works and really the inequities there and what you can do about that, I really do think people have to handle you differently, because they're like, oh well shit, I can't really play with this one in the same way.
Exactly.
So yeah. All right, we spent a lot of time on that. We gotta
sorry, I was so passionate.
Yeah, we gotta move on to something I think that I'm just as passionate about, y'all. Second story. Can we talk about aliens?
Yes, we can.
Did you expect us to jump there? Did you?
I did, because I saw the prep email. So
she read the prep email from our future guest. You see that? She read the prep email. All right. First of all, I really just want to get your thoughts. Like, do you think that we have seen visits, that like these claims are true?
Personally, yes, I do.
Okay.
Personally.
Okay.
Because not that I'm like, oh, I've seen it or whatever. I just think our world is so big. The Earth. Okay. The Earth is a really small dot in a universe. Inside the universe, there are galaxies, and there are galaxies upon galaxies upon galaxies. So we are small fries compared to all that's out there. Yeah. So,
and this is just one universe of however many. We can't even count how many there are.
We cannot conceive the amount of universes that there are. So I say yes, because is it plausible that there is Earth outside of Earth? I mean, life outside of Earth? Absolutely. 100,000%.
I would even say that statistically, it's overwhelmingly like possible. Like it almost has to be. Right?
We can't be the only ones. Do we really think
that? How arrogant!
Like, we can't be the only ones.
How arrogant!
Looking at us like they're so basic. They're probably so advanced.
What's the memes that was like aliens probably lock their doors when they roll past Earth? The ghetto.
Because it is though.
It shit. It's melting. My niece told me. My niece told me this weekend. She was like, "We're it. There will be no more after this." I mean, what we have done to our planet, to our home, to our world is just insane. But the whole point of this story, y'all, is to really talk about what happened in the congressional hearing and really the response of social media and honestly the country. So okay. So there was a congressional hearing that went down. There were members of like National Defense, NASA, and the Homeland Security Commission, I believe. And so they had 3 whistleblowers. All 3 of these guys were former military personnel who had said they claimed that they had encountered some type of unidentified phenomenon, right? Yeah. So they testified that they had seen craft that could not have been using technology that we have knowledge of here on this planet. And then they testified that there was a secret UFO or UAP, I think they're calling it now, retrieval program, where I guess when these things crash or when they're seen, they're like these secret people that go out and retrieve them and bring them back to some type of secret area. There was also testimony that that they believe the Pentagon and the U.S. government is in possession of non-human beings that were piloting these craft. So I will say that the whistleblower said all of these things. The people on the commission, on the committee, never really said like, oh yeah, we can confirm or deny those things. They were more so listening and asking kind of probing questions from these whistleblowers. A few things that came out of this is the committee did say that they would continue to hold hearings about this. They also said that they would potentially set up an investigative committee to kind of figure out what's going on and what these whistleblowers are talking about. So
that's a lot.
It was interesting enough, right?
They're not going to do that.
Right. Okay. It was interesting enough. So long story short, you get on social media the same day and like all of like the alien UFO followers are like, I told y'all that they've been holding on to these bodies. Now, I want to say that the U.S. government never really on record solidly, concretely confirmed that they are in possession of any aircraft or any beings. But I, like you, 100% believe that something is happening, because we have heard too many stories from too many different places to spread out across this world. And there's no way that the stories of a random village in Africa was corroborated with a story from a town in Brazil. And by the way, you can look both of those things up. And there are school children in Africa who said that they saw beings. And there's a whole town in Brazil that said that they saw beings. We saw the Las Vegas thing come out not too long ago. Yeah. You know, we know that there's actually video footage of things that we cannot explain that have been seen in our skies. So I am like you in that I have never been one to believe that we are so great and so grand that we could be the only intelligent, and I put that in heavy quotes, y'all.
Heavy quotes.
Bold at home. Heavy quotes. We cannot be the only intelligent species out here when you think about the blip that we are, not only in the vastness of infinity and of all the universes that we can't even fathom. Yeah. Have you seen the movie Horton Hears a Who? The doctor, based on the Dr. Seuss book?
Maybe no.
It's so it's Jim Carrey with all of his brilliance. But he played the elephant, and the elephant found a dandelion, and the dandelion had a speck on one of its like little stems, and there was a world on that speck. And because the elephant had such huge ears, he was the only one who could hear the world. Okay. And I'm thinking, like, I was telling a friend, Ronald, I was like, what if we are that speck on a dandelion that, you know, like, that's actually part of a greater world? We really don't know. We genuinely don't know. And for us to believe that we're the only ones is just insane to me. I have two theories, and y'all roll with me on this. Okay.
We rolling.
If we are truly being visited, here's what I believe. Okay. Number one, my first theory is that it is us from the future coming. We figured out time travel. We can figure out how to fold space-time somehow, and we've come back. Shout out to the movie Interstellar that taught me a lot about this. But we figured that out, and maybe they're coming back to warn us of something. We have seen the calamity that we have caused on our planet. Things are worse than I ever remembered. And I was talking to my grandmother, and she was like, "No, shit is bad." She was like, "Now I've been through Jim Crow. Shit is bad." No, right? So that's one of my, like, maybe there is a warning, like, hey, y'all are literally melting your planet right now. What are you doing? Literally. And it could be them ensuring that they are able to survive by fixing this canon event, right? Shout out to everybody who's a Spider-Man fan and who saw, you know, Into the Multiverse. The second thing is that there's some type of like more intelligent species maybe that's coming back to warn us about just our behavior and what we've become as a species. Like, we really have dove into, I think, like this level of humanity that maybe we haven't seen in centuries, where it's, you know, we were just talking about every man for himself. We walk past atrocities and not help one another. Like, we have become just inhumane in so many ways, and maybe it is some type of more intelligent, more peaceful species, you know, looking at us from afar, like, should we even talk to them? Should we save them, or should we just let them destroy themselves? But that's my thoughts. Your thoughts?
So I have a couple of thoughts. They're kind of random, but just, you know, go with me.
I'm gonna roll with you.
So, one, we have to think back to very recently the Chinese spy balloon. Okay. So during that time when the Chinese spy balloon situation was happening, that wasn't identified as a Chinese spy balloon. But there were also like 4 other accounts of, like, you know, the Air Force shooting things out of the air. And we never got an explanation for that. You know what I mean? Like, there was a lot of energy on the Chinese spy balloon, but I'm like, but y'all shot something down over Alaska. Are y'all going to tell us what that is?
What the fuck was that?
No, we don't know. They never told us what that was.
Okay.
That for me, I'm just gonna say.
And I do remember that because that was just a couple weeks after.
That was a couple. There was like several.
Yeah.
There were like 3 to 4 things that happened.
The skies were going crazy. Yeah.
Like, straight after. Yeah. That. And I'm like, and I feel like it was just so much energy on it because this spy balloon was in the air. So now they, talking about all these things in the air.
Can I say, why did we use $1 million missile to shoot down a balloon? Like a thumbtack wouldn't have done.
That was literally what I was about to say. Anytime the Air Force fires a weapon outside of their freaking fighter jet, how many tax dollars is that?
Yo,
so you are accountable to tell us what you shot down.
Y'all scrambled 4-5 jets for a balloon.
Fighter jets.
Unbelievable.
Like, y'all think we in war is what you telling me.
Wasteful.
By sending fighter jets out to shoot things down that you then don't tell us what they are.
Unbelievable.
Now, y'all,
a BB gun would have done it.
Listen, if someone heard from the government what those things were, please correct us. Because from my knowledge, and I was paying attention to that because I thought it was strange. Heard what those
yeah.
Okay, so I will say that.
Okay.
Okay, so then to your point, number 2. To your point of people being in like different places and like hearing the same story. Okay, now go with me here.
Okay.
I believe in mermaids. And I ask everybody.
Oh, tell me more. I'm going to take some of your wine while you tell me about this. 1 second.
I ask everybody if they believe in mermaids because I'm not saying mermaids look like Ariel or Halle Bailey. You know what I mean? I'm saying that there could be like a fish-like animal that appears to have 2 arms and a tail and could have a human-esque top form. I'm not saying it's got hair and it's a siren, right? Maybe, but I don't know. But we don't know.
Okay.
So my point being that...
Why do you believe in mermaids? Have you seen something?
I haven't seen them.
Okay.
So the point is, to your point about the aliens, there have been several sightings around the world of this thing that looked like this.
Okay.
And that are like, back then they weren't connected. They couldn't even send a freaking telegram.
Yeah, that's real.
That far.
That's real.
So for me, when there are different cultures that have like these ancient stories that all kind of point to something similar, I feel like there must be something to it. Somebody saw something.
My grandma used to say, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, pretty much. So
okay.
I do believe in mermaids. That's why. And again, I don't think that they necessarily look like Ariel, but I think that it could be a fish thing. And also, going back to space, we have explored more space in this world than we have ocean.
Yes.
And our ocean is 70% of Earth.
Yes.
That Titan thing, like, let me not get into that because that's a whole different situation. But listen, how long did it take them to figure out the Titan thing and to get the people to be able to get that low? They're like, we haven't got that low before. It's too low. Like, that's right here on Earth.
Can I say the way you fools acted up on social media about this goddamn submarine? I should not revel in the death of anyone. No. But the way we act, like
the jokes,
but it all, and not to get too like anti-capital or capitalistic, right? But I do think it shows that like people are sick of like super wealthy people just wasting money on shit like going to see the Titanic.
Pretty much. Which brings me to point 3.
Okay.
And this is my last point. The rich, now that they are now diving, there also is a space race that's happening right now.
Yes.
So our billionaires, Elon Musk. Bezos, and the British one, Virgin
Airlines guy,
are all investing a lot of money to getting to space, to getting to different planets, to potentially colonize them because this one's burning up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think that there's something to it. I think the thing that I can't understand is like, why would they not just tell us? What would be the government's fear in telling us that this is real?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like mass panic, because aliens have been so, personified in movies in different ways. Like, I don't know why, if this is the case, which I believe it very well could be the case. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I know or I've seen it. I'm just saying like probability wise.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it's me and you or people that look like me and you that they have to worry about. Because I'm like 100%. I'm on the side of peace. I am not interested in shooting a nuclear weapon, a gun, or anything at anything that's coming here in peace.
Yeah.
Like, I already told the 3-letter agencies that if they need a welcome committee, go on and put me on it, bruh. because I am more than happy to carry the message of humans to the message of whatever extraterrestrials are coming here to figure out. Like, I really do believe that they think there's going to be mass panic, but they forget that there are those of us who are just built differently, and that we don't have to shoot everything that we don't understand.
Well, that's the American way now.
And that's what I fear. I kid you not. I fear that if something truly does reveal itself plain sight to us, that they will begin to shoot at it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm gonna be honest, if there is something that has gotten to our planet, they figured out how to get here, how to fold space-time or whatever, they're obviously smarter and more advanced. Their weaponry and technology has to be more advanced than ours. We start shooting at it and they shoot back, we're done.
We're done.
We won't. Don't shoot.
Right.
Hands up.
Listen.
Don't shoot.
Listen. And this is what the movies are about, right? Maybe they've spent all of this time. I mean, because we know in this country, entertainment is our biggest industry, whether we want to talk about it or not.
We export, our culture.
Our culture, our entertainment industry. And I think they vilified aliens, right? Maybe aliens were always coming in peace and we started to shoot at them and then they attacked us.
Fuck around and find
never know. Right?
Yeah.
Those are my thoughts. I think it's quite probable that there are aliens.
So we're gonna wrap up this topic.
Extraterrestrial beings, whatever.
If one walks in here right now, what are we doing?
We're gonna pour it a drink. And they're gonna sit down and they're gonna chat with us.
We on the same page. So if there are any extraterrestrials that are interested in being on the green route, Laura Wise and Marlissa Collier.
But I will say I'm very scary, so I need ample warning. Can't nobody just roll.
We're gonna get you some of this moonshine. No, calm that down. No. Bring that on down. We're gonna pour up a glass of moonshine, y'all.
I can't have things popping up on me, so I need to we need to have a communication.
You want to invite?
You want to come in here? Okay, come very slowly.
I'm gonna keep the dogs in the back because they might freak out.
They would definitely.
But I do like the idea of let me pour you a drink. I don't know what you drink on your planet or where you come from, but
maybe they know English, maybe they don't.
Hey,
we don't know.
I mean, we got rhythm. Y'all like music? Can we throw some of that on?
Universal language.
Y'all eat? There's some chicken in there.
This is a good point. They may not eat though, but I feel like they would know music.
Music, food, rhythm, whatever. A smile. Y'all like hookah? We got hookah.
Yes.
Something. Yes. We'll figure out a way to make them feel comfortable.
It will be nice. It will be lovely.
I love it. All right, y'all. We've been spending a lot of time on these topics. All right, let's go down to Florida. Y'all. We got to talk about.
Must we?
We got to, because we in Texas, so
we are in Texas.
I mean, we barely doing any better at this point than Florida.
Let's not get it twisted. You're right.
All right, so a big story that's been in the news for weeks now is the African American history curriculum for middle school students in particular in Florida. Now, as a reminder, y'all, Governor Ron DeSantis, who is also running for president, he's behind Trump right now. He's actually pretty far behind Trump, but he is the kind of, second runner-up behind Trump for the Republican nomination. He has been really championing this culture war. He's this anti-woke, rhetoric, right, in Florida. If you haven't been paying attention, everything from book bans to bans on, how trans and LGBT youth are handled in the state, immigration policies that have left many businesses without migrant workers. So the latest news was the Florida Board of Education approved a 12-page document outlining their new curriculum, right, and what they're to teach for the upcoming school year. Part of that is African American history for middle school students. And so the big thing that everyone had kind of been focusing on is a very small part actually of the curriculum, but it is very important because it states that some enslaved people actually benefited from the skills they learned while being enslaved, and they could have potentially used those skills for personal gain. So say blacksmiths or seamstress or things like that. Now, I think the issue here is that our country has a big problem with confusing like personal gain and benefit with survival.
Yeah.
So think about being enslaved, right? Like everything you've ever known as far as your humanity, if you're one of the first to come here, has been stripped away from you. Now, if you are born into it after generations of slavery, all you know is that this is where you are on the cast in this country. So you obviously have to find a way to survive. And the way a lot of people survive was to make themselves useful, whether that was being the best picker, whether that was being the best cook, the best seamstress. It was always about, how do I make sure that I can stay here to keep my children and keep my family together, or not be sold, or not be killed, or not be, raped or whatever, right? And so, yeah, there may have been people who learned skills and innately may have been good at certain things like blacksmithing or woodworking or whatever. But to even fix your mouth or your pen to say or write respectively, that these people who were enslaved by force chose to make a survival skill a benefit to themselves is insane to me. Kamala Harris, our vice president, was at the Delta Sigma Theta. So I love the diff that you just did. That was cute. Annette would love that. I hope she's watching. Shout out to all the sorors on the live. But she called it out and was like, it really is them spitting in our faces to even say that our ancestors, used such a dire and terrible situation to their own personal gain. So what I want to focus on, though, is that that's actually just a very small part of what the curriculum says. If you read through it, and it is on the Florida Department of Education, if you read that curriculum, y'all, it gets worse. It gets worse. So it not only removes the teachings and the writings of very prominent African-American speakers and writers, but it also begins to teach that certain events, certain massacres, say the Tulsa race riots and massacre, right, that it was perpetrated at the hands of some African-Americans. Rather than saying that they were defending themselves from the mobs that were coming, on Black Wall Street, tearing down their businesses and their homes. Yeah. But then it also, and this is what kind of got me, it points to other countries who imported slaves during the transatlantic slave trade and said, oh yeah, like, America, this is what we were doing over here, but it was worse over there. Look, and there are chapters of them explaining what was going on in the Caribbean and in Asia and in Europe. But this is African American history. Like, we have, there's nothing in there that should say, oh, we weren't that bad.
Yeah.
If you really look over there, it wasn't that bad. It was almost a deterrent from how terrible our situation was here, by looking over to someone else and saying, well, at least y'all had food and water and clothes and shelter. Yeah, you may have been sold, you may have been used as a breeding slave or whatever, but over there where you were getting your fingers chopped off. So aren't you happy? The curriculum is trash, period. And it's more than just saying that slaves benefited from the skills that they learned from slavery.
Yeah. Ooh, yes. I am just personally, I'm very concerned with the direction of this country. And I am very concerned that facts are no longer facts, right? Like, if we look just generally, like, there's a lot of complaint about the media. I cannot quite pinpoint like what it was where like people just started making stuff up and saying that it was like the truth. You know what I mean? I don't know if it was like the advent of the internet and like everybody has an opinion. So just when everybody has an option, you
who's
just,
yelling
like,
the loudest,
you want to say, because you're popular, you got a lot of followers or whatever it may be. But that's concerning to me. I'm kind of a little bit at a loss for words, because I think that this is so incredibly unhealthy. And I think that this is a self-fulfilling prophecy, and we will never be great. We will never be great.
Say it.
Okay? because we literally cannot even admit the atrocities that founded this country and that this country was built on. Okay, so yeah, I just like I are you familiar with Ray Dalio?
No.
Okay, girl, you would love him.
Okay,
I'm gonna send
I'm writing it down.
Stuff.
Ray,
I'm gonna send you some stuff. Dalio. But Ray Dalio is a hedge fund manager. He founded a huge financial company, Bridgewater Capital. I think that's what it's called. Starts with a B. Bridgewater. I'm pretty sure that's right, but don't quote me. I'll send the link.
Okay.
And he has been very successful. It's been one of the most successful hedge funds in like history. And he has always attributed his success in his hedge fund to studying history, not like 40 years ago, like 300 years ago, 400 years ago, like what was happening? What happened with the Dutch East India Trading Company, right? Like not just, 40 years ago. So his theory is he has this whole video called America's New World Order. It's like a 40-minute video. It's on YouTube. It's got like crazy views. And it's all about essentially like the decline of the US, right? And it talks about, he has all of these like criteria that he's judging it off of. It's like 8 different criteria. And he was like, if you look at past societies that were on top, it was first the Dutch. At one point, it was the English, right? It has been most recently the US and America. If you look at when these countries or when these dynasties started to fall, this is what was happening during that time for them, where things started to go wrong. And everything that he says, we are like doing like this. You know what I mean? Like,
is it the theory of like the 70 or 80 year cycle where history kind of repeats itself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard the theory, but I haven't heard it. Yeah.
It's essentially that. It's a cycle. I think it's longer than 70 to 80 years.
Okay.
But it is that. It's a cycle of economic prosperity.
Got it.
And economic decline.
Okay.
And a lot of what he points back to is when you start infighting over political things, right? Which means that you're not focused on the prize.
That's right.
The prize is building your economy.
Yeah. Not
arguing over social issues because you're trying to be unfair or you're trying to literally lie to children in Florida about the history of this country. You know what I mean? So I'm just generally concerned. That's my only thought. And I'm getting my visa, y'all. I'm out.
Laura said this to me before we started recording, and she was like, where are we going? And I think both of us start rattling off some of the same places where we know that there are expat communities of people who have jumped ship because it's real there. And I love that you talked about the decline. Like, the empire is falling, and we are literally watching. Yeah, we're watching it fall. As scary as it is, it's also kind of cool to be part of history. Yeah. Like, is that weird to say?
But can I tell you what bothers me though? Right?
Okay.
Like, we literally started this podcast and we was like, Trump was indicted for what, the 3rd time?
This is number 3. 4th is probably on the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me until you put him in jail. I don't care about an indictment. If you're not going to follow through on that indictment and put that man in jail.
And I don't really care about the arraignments either.
Right. Like it does not send any message to this country about being just if you do not put him in jail. Because that's what you do to other criminals, right? You put them in jail. You put black people in jail.
We put innocent people in jail.
We put innocent people in jail.
Yeah.
We put children in jail. But you won't put him in jail? Don't talk to me until y'all put him in jail.
You've always been able to buy your way to freedom in this country. And I mean, we can go back to the founding, right? 1619 Project, right? Yeah. Money talks, and it allows you to walk. And so when you look at, Donald Trump, and this is actually why my grandmother said to me this weekend that where there's smoke, there's fire, because she was like, there's no way all of these people for all of these years have been lying on this man. There's no way. What Cat Williams said, if somebody been saying the same thing about you for 30, 40 years, they're not lying. It's the truth. Yeah, somebody is telling the truth about you. And so, I want to remind y'all, like, this man was on trial for the rape of a 13-year-old girl when he ran the first time. And what makes me sad is that these indictments are only helping him because he is able to spin the story
that part
in saying, well, see,
they're after me.
It's because I'm challenging the system. Yeah. See, and you have so many people, probably people who didn't read any of the banned books, who are more than willing to believe this. That takes me to my point in saying, y'all read banned books.
You need to find the list and just like dust them off.
Yeah.
And,
there's a reason they are banning them.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Fahrenheit 451.
Oh my God.
It's crazy that they're banning books.
The Bluest Eye.
Yeah.
There are so, and I can't even lie. If I ever end up on a banned book list, it's a badge of honor.
Listen.
It is a badge of honor.
Let me tell you, I heard Nicole Hannah-Jones speak at SMU.
Mm-hmm. I was supposed to be there, and I'm so glad. I'm so mad I missed it. I'm so mad.
Me and my mom went. I think my mom even told me about it. I didn't even know. We went. I was so moved. Mm-hmm. I mean, she was really like speaking the truth, and she was not going back to our point about facts. Like, she wasn't just saying her facts. Yeah. She was literally like, this is the first time, this is the first newspaper headline when the word critical race theory was used.
Receipts.
I did not create that term.
That's right.
That term was created by Fox 4.
That's right.
And their affiliates, essentially, that started to put that term out there. And then on this date, they said that term 87 times in one day. Like, she was literally tracing the timeline of the, just the way that they have painted her, like making her this villain. Yeah. And she is not a villain. It is this tool.
I mean, she is speaking to history. Yeah. That's it. Like, so I got to sit in on her, she has a CRT summer school, the op-ed project out. They actually just opened their applications for the new class. I'm going to send it to you. So I did it last summer, and it's like a 3-day intensive where you actually learn what her work is about, what Fox 4 called critical race theory. Mm-hmm. And when you actually learn it in depth, it's like, this is just teaching the history of the United States and how our policy and our legislation from the beginning, since 1619, has shaped not only like the way that we live now, but also like how our policy is set up. And literally the reason that a South Dallas neighborhood can't hold on to their homes, but Highland Park has its own police department and has a hole in the middle of Dallas. Let's talk about it. So I'm like, this is just history, but to teach that would also mean empowering people and informing people so that they don't put up with your shit no more. Yeah. And you can't have that. Yeah. Like, to keep people ignorant is probably one of the most powerful tools that our government has used time and time again.
And can I just, this is going to be kind of a term, but this is going to relate. So I've found out recently during the TikTok hearings, right? Because TikTok, I was recently in Montana, y'all. TikTok is apparently banned in Montana.
TikTok is suing Montana though right now.
They are.
Yeah, because so what did I say? Montana was the first state to ban TikTok. Montana was the first state to be sued by TikTok because of it, because First Amendment law should apply there.
And I'm like, how do you enforce this? That's a totally separate story. But anyway, it is technically banned there. But when all these TikTok hearings were going on, I mean, there was just so much, conversation going on about TikTok. And I learned, which I didn't know, which you probably do know, is that there is a different algorithm for TikTok in China.
Yeah.
And they're feeding their children STEM videos and educational things.
They have a time limit.
It's cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're like dancing. You know what I mean?
Look at this.
Yeah. So it's just like going back to, this New World Order of, the video that I want to send you. This is how countries decline, right? When we think about 20 to 30 years from now, the children who are watching dance videos over here, the children over there, like writing code and like doing sneak attacks on U.S. elections.
That's right. That's right.
That's already been proven. That's the thing. You know what I mean? So we got to move on because God, we could talk about this all day. I know.
But this past weekend, my niece walked into my room. She was helping to clean out some of my mom's old stuff, and she found this math book, and she walked in and she was like, "Auntie, what is this?" And she was kind of like chuckling at it, and I was like, "Oh no!" Like, my mother was very serious about ensuring that not only we were doing well within LAUSD, but that also like we had extra work to do when we got home. and it never felt forced. I can honestly say that. Like, I never felt like my mom was forcing it. She made it fun. Like, she would, buy games for us to like learn math, and she knew I was a bookworm. So for those that don't know, like, my mom she had my oldest sister pretty young, which means she couldn't go to college right away. So when I was a very little girl, literally almost 20 years later, my mom decided to go get her degree. So when my mom was at Dominguez Hills getting her degree, she would bring her sociology books home to me. And that's how I became interested in a lot of this stuff that I'm interested in, because here I am, a 5, 6, 7-year-old girl reading sociology books from a student at Dominguez Hills.
And here we are, folks.
And here, shout out to Deborah. Shout out to Deborah. But it goes to show that just providing our children with information gives them opportunities to just expand their minds. Whether or not I decided to go into writing or politics or whatever, just having access to that information changed the way I viewed the world and changed the empathy that I had for other people. And like the way I saw myself versus, someone else who may not have been, as gifted or whatever, right? And then what sociology in particular did was allow me to see how everything was connected. Like, opportunity met preparation met talent for me, and that's how I was able to quote unquote make it out. But if that formula doesn't formulate just right for the same person on the same block that I grew up in, chances are they're going to still be there. And so, just providing kids with that information, and a lot of that is held in those dystopian novels that they're trying to ban from our children right now. Those stories are being told in a way that's entertaining, but it's teaching them life lessons about how all of us are connected and how this life is so intricate. And if you are not kind of in the right place at the right time with the right luck, you could very well be stuck. And that's the difference between me, someone who's more than willing to reach back and help the next person along, and someone who's like, I don't really give a damn about them and I'm gonna go get mine and throw everybody else under the bus. And so that's why I encourage parents. Like, I'm about to start working back with DISD for the journalism program. I'm encouraging parents, like, buy the banned book list for your children before they're all burned. Fahrenheit.
Too. Just FYI, I want to get involved.
Say less.
Let me know how.
Carrie, you hear that? Dallas Free Press, y'all hear that?
I would love
to. We got her on right now. We love it. Okay, no, definitely going to happen. So yeah, I'm definitely with you, and I think that if they don't educate these children, they're going to fall behind. And I honestly, I think we're already seeing it.
Behind.
So
we already there.
So
we got to come up.
Man, y'all, hey, those on live, I'm going to take a real quick break and make sure we're still on Restream real quick.
Okay.
Computer went
break
dead.
time. I'm going to take a fast.
What happened to our sound? Okay, apparently our sound went off, so. Okay, we're still on here. Let me try to fix our sound on IG real quick. All right, is it sound better, y'all? What's up with you? Sound on? Let me know. All right, cool. Thank y'all. I think it's because the phone was about to die. So actually what I'm going to do is get my girl a charger real quick.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah, they said the sound went off for a minute.
I did not charge my phone.
I got you.
That's a really good point.
Thanks for the heads up. Hopefully y'all got to hear most of it. How up? Trying.
Yes. Thank you for the wine, dear.
Yes, of course. Thank y'all. Yeah, I think when your phone gives you that notification, they may turn the sound
like
to
the 10% or whatever. Yeah. Maybe.
Okay.
Oh. That's weird.
Okay, I'm gonna try another chord.
Okay. Strange.
No, she got makeup on.
No, she's old now.
Is she old?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, hold up.
Oh, that's working.
That did it?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Alright, y'all. First episode back. Thank y'all for being patient. Cool. Okay. Trying to figure out if I want some more wine.
The moonshine?
I definitely don't want no more moonshine.
You should definitely have some wine.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna do some more wine. All right, let me go on and get to the next topic so we don't keep y'all. Oh, this American woman who was kidnapped in Haiti. Have you heard about this?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So let me give y'all a little background while I pour some wine. So there is an American woman who was working as a nurse in Haiti. If you have not been kind of paying attention to what's happening in Haiti right now, they are in political turmoil. Gangs apparently are running amok. Many countries have called for their citizens to remove themselves from the country because of just the status and the state of the Haitian nation right now. You'll also remember that, was it 2 years ago now? The then sitting president was actually was killed, and his wife actually had to be taken to a Florida hospital, not only for safety but for treatment. So just a lot going on in Haiti. So this woman, who's the wife of the head of a nonprofit there, it is a Christian organization, I want to point out, who provides services to the Haitian people and also spreads the gospel of Jesus Christ to the people. She was taken along with her daughter. So it's being said that she was serving at a clinic, and a gunman walked in. He was masked, and he pointed a gun at her and told her to be calm and demanded a ransom of $1 million. Took her and the child.
How old is the child? Do you know?
They haven't said. They haven't said. I was gonna say I thought the child may have been young, but I can't really confirm that. They're not releasing the name or age of the child, I guess, because a minor.
Yep.
But we do know it's a little girl. That's one thing we did find out. So again, her husband is the head of this organization that she was actually working for. He grew up in Haiti in a neighborhood in Port-au-Prince, and ended up coming to school here in the U.S. He got his undergrad, and I believe he went to high school here and then graduated from undergrad here. I believe he went to like Montana for high school. Crazy enough, but yeah. So the U.S. government is working very closely with obviously like Haitian police and their allies there in Haiti. But one thing that I thought about, y'all, when I read this story, and I've actually done an infographic on, why Haiti is in the state that it's in now, because I think it's easy for us to look at the Haitian nation and be like, oh, well, they just need to get their shit together, not thinking about the hand that our country has played in the state of Haiti. And so I'll actually share that infographic when this episode drops on Friday. But I thought to myself, like, we have always been front and center when it comes to ensuring that Haiti isn't able to pull itself out of some type of political, financial, just civic turmoil. And now, crazy enough, not only are we working to try to get this woman back, which I do believe we should, right? Like, no one should be taken hostage and held captive. But Kenya is now going to other countries proposing to lead the charge into Haiti to partner with Haitian police forces to restore order. And the problem I have with that is that it still doesn't fix the initial big wrong that was done to that nation ever since they won their freedom in the revolution, and the fact that they had to pay reparations to the crown because of their freedom. So, I look at what's happening. I'm like, I get it. Like, of course, I want this woman and her child to come home, but I do also think that our country and other countries alike need to admit that we have played a role in creating the situation that we're seeing in Haiti. And it doesn't help that Title 42, which was a Trump era policy that kept certain migrants from certain countries from coming into the United States during the COVID-19 pandemic. It doesn't help that, we continue to put these like nationalist / racist policies in place to make sure that these people never really get a fair shot.
Yeah. Woo. Yeah. That is a tough one. So I will say, I have been to Haiti.
Did you love it?
It was beautiful.
I loved it.
It's a beautiful, beautiful country. It is sadly also a country that is just so poverty stricken.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because of the history. And when I saw this story, I did a little, just digging around in the articles that you sent. I found like this little NPR podcast that was like talking about the history of Haiti. And I don't think I have heard the history, but like I didn't hear a lot of the details of it. And it really gave a lot of the details. And the guy that was talking about it is this guy, last name Diamond, can't think of the first name, but he wrote a book that I have read called Guns, Germs, and Steel. Which you would like that book. Which basically talks about civilization and how we've evolved over many, many thousands of years to the industrial age that we're in now, and technological age, honestly, that we're in now. But it was just such an interesting history to kind of hear about, what has happened to Haiti. I mean, I think in Black communities, we talk about it as the country that fought back and was able to win their freedom. But also like there's this Black stamp that was placed on them because the countries didn't want to support or trade with them or do anything to support that country because they fought back. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I just am personally of the mind that if the U.S. is lying to our children, we are never going to admit, we can't even admit our own wrongs here. So we will never admit the role that we played in the damage, I would say, that has been done in Haiti, unfortunately.
And to think that we're going back to attempt to occupy again is
occupy Haiti? Are they talking about that?
Well, that's what Kenya is.
Oh, occupy.
They're talking about leading the charge, right? But we jumping on board. Like the opportunity to occupy a country that we've been mad at for years for even winning their freedom and their independence when we were banking on the slave trade in this country. So I really hope that this woman and her child come home, but I do think you're right in that for things to ever be right for that country, every country involved with the current state of Haiti has to take account for their original sin.
And literally the world is not accounting for original sin. We do not even have time for this topic, but Meghan Markle so fascinates me. You know what I mean? And like everything that's happening with her situation, with the crown, in Britain and all of that jazz. I just, I find it very interesting. So I think we are just like, our world is not at a place where it's like ready to reckon with the harms and the ills that have been done, in the name of white capitalism.
Do you think we'll ever be there?
No.
I don't see it coming.
I don't. And also, we're burning our world up, so we may not make it.
We won't have time to do it.
Not a lot of time.
Damn it.
I mean, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
I mean, we got time, but we ain't got that much time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I saw somebody say we got 80 years. What y'all gonna do with it? Or maybe, again, back to the aliens. Maybe that's what they here to tell us. I don't know.
They trying to take us with them.
I don't know. All right, last thing, and this is going to take us into the topic of freelancing. So let's talk about Yellow Corp.
Yes.
Y'all, this is a 99-year-old trucking company, almost a century old, who has big clients such as Home Depot, Walmart, just some big boys on the roster. Who recently announced, just I believe last Friday, that they are ceasing operations, and that at some point all 30,000 of their employees are going to have to find other employment or retire. 30,000 employees. Was it 22,000 of those are union employees, I believe?
Yes, I heard that.
Represented by the Teamsters Union, which, by the way, was just beefing with UPS about their delivery drivers and, making sure, and I believe FedEx too, if I'm not mistaken. And them just having basic necessities like air, AC in their trucks, right? Yeah. And so, the reason I even knew about it was because there was a video that was spreading all over TikTok where there was a man in a, it almost looked like a forklift warehouse. And he was going off for good reason when you found out what he was talking about. So he was saying, I gave you so many years of this company and you're telling me that I'm not going to have a pension. Like, how do you sleep at night? Like, I got, 30 something years with y'all. This is just insane. Yeah. So as I did some digging, coming to find out that he actually worked for Yellow Corp. And what had happened was, this actually goes back to kind of like 2008. So remember the housing market crash where businesses were going under left and right. So during that time, that's when their financial struggles kind of started. They went from having, I believe it was 26% of the market share for kind of freight and delivery to 9% in 2015. And it was because other companies like UPS, FedEx, Amazon, whatever, began to, kind of move in on their market share. Now, they also took on a whole lot of debt during that time. About, I believe it was $1.5 billion. $700 billion of that was from a pandemic era PPP loan that they took on in exchange for 30% of the stock. They failed to, number one, manage their debt and their resources and their cash flow. They also failed to restructure the debt and to refinance it. And so, shit snowballed, continued to snowball. And not only are they losing clients, so that means their revenue is going down, right? Potentially the union is negotiating, so their operating costs could potentially be going up at the same time. Their financial statements look terrible, and you can actually pull those on their website, guys. Their Q1 statements are up right now. I actually read through them, and it does show that not only were they losing tonnage, meaning the amount of product that they were moving every day, every month, every quarter, but also that their operating costs were ticking up slowly. So they had gotten into a beef with the union just a few weeks ago. And they told the union, like, hey, we're strapped for cash. We're probably going to run out of cash and we won't be able to contribute to your pension and healthcare plans. The union was like, yeah, that's not going to happen because we still driving these trucks. So what's up? And there was a lot of back and forth. So the union had actually threatened a strike. Yeah. Maybe a week before they decided to cease operations. They didn't even get that far. They couldn't even get that far. Right. Lord. By a certain day last week, there was a notice going out letting all the employees know that they were ceasing operations and that they had a certain number of days still on the books, and that, you know, the good majority of their 30,000 employees right now would actually be laid off. Now they'll probably keep operating another portion of their employees for now to, you know, close out books and handle the bankruptcy and all of that. But yeah, this company is filing bankruptcy, and I think it's just so interesting because it just goes to show that when people talk about like millennials not staying with the company too long and, you know, moving around or freelancing or whatever, that I think we've gotten used to these kind of stories where we know we cannot trust what our parents and our grandparents could trust. Your pension to be there, you to be able to live once you've given so many years to a specific company, and really be able to take care of yourself and your family. Like I watched what my grandfather did with his salary, right, with our family. And I don't know anyone that could do that now, driving, you know, heavy machinery or operating heavy machinery the way that my grandfather did. So I really want to get your thoughts specifically as a freelancer on, number one, what happened with Yellow, with the Yellow Trucking Company, but also like where you see the economy and the workforce going.
Ooh, the second question, I got lots of thoughts. I mean, what happened with this company? I mean, mismanagement. I think we were kind of talking about this a little bit before we started, and like, I'm kind of convinced that if you can grow a company big enough, like, you know, you're fine. You'll be bailed out. You know what I mean? Like something will happen and you'll be fine, which is so unfortunate. But when we think about those 30,000 workers that won't get their pension, like they were working their whole lives for that pension. And like today in 2000 and what are we in 23? I have one friend that has a pension and she works for a private company, right? So it's just like,
I don't know
pensions
anybody.
are not a thing anymore. You know, my dad had a pension from his job that he retired from after many, many years. But yeah, I mean, you know, I think mismanagement is rampant. You know what I mean? I think we saw it with Silicon Valley Bank. You know what I mean? And what happened? They got bailed out because they couldn't fail, because
too
there
big
goes
to fail.
The economy with them if they win.
You
know? So I think it's really unfortunate. And I think that it's more prevalent than we realize. You know what I mean? Like, you know, these are the big companies that we're hearing about, but there's medium-sized companies going out of business every day, right? Like the people that are running them they're fallible. We're people, you know, like I remember stories about when the crash in 2008 happened and like bankers were killing themselves, you know,
jumping in front of trains. Yeah.
It's just like, you know, like people are fallible, people make mistakes, and you know, some people play loose and fast with the numbers, and that doesn't work.
Well, and I mean, you think about 2008, right? Like The Big Short, right, really taught us where that even came from, right? The fact that these people knew that they were creating these, what did they call it, creative financing deals for people who should have never had these loans, and they were bringing them in the front door and putting them out the back door. And, you know, over leveraging the whole system until it literally crashed. And so it's like, did anyone go to prison for that? But we putting people in jail for blunt. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, people's pensions are missing, people's homes are being taken, people's lives are being destroyed. We worried about somebody smoking weed. I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, no, that is so true. I mean, and it's just like, I don't even know what to say about it except for the fact that it is sad. And I mean, one thing I'm not even going to say I learned for myself, that I stumbled into for myself, is that we can't rely on these companies, right? I think I learned because I tried to get jobs that I couldn't get. And I'm like, who are you to tell me I'm not good enough to do this work? So therefore I charted my own path. Right. So I stumbled into it. It's not because I was done wrong. It's just like, I want to do what I want to do. And if you're not going to give me that opportunity, I will create the opportunity for myself, which is what I did. Right. But I think in the process of just being an independent consultant for the past 4.5 years, praise God, and paying attention to what's happening across the economy, what's happening politically, what's happening to policies that are happening, what's happening across the globe, right? Because it's not just the US anymore. Like, I think being loyal to companies is just, you know, I'm not saying we shouldn't, you know, enjoy your job, enjoy your PTO, enjoy, your 401k.
Say that again. Enjoy your PTO.
Enjoy it. Because I think that those things are so important, right?
Yeah.
Like those are the American dream. Because, what is the American dream? But, those things are very important. But also, Jamie Foxx had a stroke and he was lined up for a show and they replaced him.
There you go.
And he's Jamie Foxx.
That part.
I mean? Like,
that part. Yep.
I just think that as people, I think it's really important that we learn our own worth, right? We talk about that, like know yourself, know your worth, know your worth in every sense of in the word.
Yep.
Know your worth emotionally, know what you deserve in relationships, know what you deserve in your workspace, and know what you don't deserve in your workspace, right? So, long story short, the economy is changing really quickly. You know what I mean? And one thing I always like to say, because I talk a lot about freelancing, contracting, consulting, because like that's what I've done by necessity, right? Like, again, that's just kind of been my path.
Yeah.
But I'm not advocating for people to go out and quit their jobs, right? I'm just saying this is an option. It is happening. It is more beneficial for companies to not hire people.
That's right.
Than it is for them to hire contractors to do the work that they need to be done at any given time, right? I'm just saying, as people, as Black people specifically, like I think it's really important that we just understand what our options are and that we understand our worth and our value when we're going to work for these big companies.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that was a tangent.
No. I loved everything because, I mean, crazy enough, the reason I even kind of got into freelance is because of something that I saw happen in corporate America where, I mean, my job was safe, but I watched how many people had been there for years not be safe.
Yeah.
And I watched them be walked out the doors. And I remember me and a good friend of mine, we sat there and we talked about it like, yo, that could be us. Yeah. Like, I remember thinking like, I don't want my livelihood to be in the hands of someone who could walk me out of the door just because I didn't make it above a certain line that they drew on a piece of paper.
And what is the line? The line is nepotism.
Yes, usually.
Like a lot of times, right?
Yeah,
like it's not even a real line. It's
that's
like,
right.
Well, this is my friend. Like, nah, let's give up.
Yeah, like
me
and her mom go to church together or whatever. So yeah, 100%. And so, I mean, for me, like, and y'all, I actually started freelancing with Laura. Like, that's actually how I started was, working for her firm, Content Wise Communications, and really learning what it was to work with clients on a project base rather than, with a corporation on whatever they threw at whatever the hot topic of the day was.
Yeah.
And so I think what we're seeing here is it speaks to what you're saying. And don't take just Yellow Trucking Company as the only example, right? I do those morning updates every day, and a lot of tech companies are laying off 15, 20, 30,000 people at a time because a lot of times it's not about growing revenues. If they're in a saturated market already, the only choice is to cut operating costs.
Yeah.
Or cut costs, period. And most times for very large companies, the biggest cost on your books is going to be your headcount.
Absolutely.
And that's the first place that they look. Absolutely. And so when you see these companies cutting 5, 10, 20,000 jobs at a time, it's usually because like they're in a market where they can no longer figure out how to grow their revenue. And so the only thing that their shareholders will really allow for when it comes to greater profits is for them to cut costs.
And I think, can I just interject really quickly? Because I think when I think about freelancing, like I'm like, listen, again, I'm not telling people to quit your job, keep your job and have a side hustle. But I think my point is when those times come, workforce reduction, okay, because they come, right? And we are in a season right now where people are laying off left and right.
Yeah.
If you get to the chopping block and you don't have a job tomorrow, I don't want Black people to feel desolate. Like, what am I going to do? Oh my gosh, I gotta, get on unemployment. No, you got a lot of skills working for that company.
That's right.
And you need to flip those skills and you need to go find a contract and I just don't want people to feel dependent on this corporation who will look over you in a second because you are operating costs that they can cut.
That's
and
right.
They need to save some money.
That's
you
right.
know what I mean? Like, we need to have the same mindset. Not that we don't need to be loyal, you know what I mean? Because do good work. That's my whole philosophy. Like, I just want to do good work. That's all I've ever wanted to do. And that's a gift and a curse for me, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But do good work for wherever you're working. But also, if there comes a time where you don't work there anymore, just don't feel like that's the end of the road for you.
Yeah.
Because it's not. Like, you have options. You always have an option. We always have an option.
100%. Freelancing is so empowering, y'all. And especially, I think, when you're doing it while you're working your 9 to 5. Like, when you know that you got something going on the outside, it's like, I'm gonna be honest, when I was freelancing with Lo, and working for the company that I left recently, I really didn't care what happened at that company. I'm gonna be honest. Like, if I got looked over for something, I was like, it's cool, because I'm getting some bread over here. Like, I'm doing this thing on the side. So actually not getting that promotion is helpful, because I got extra time to put into this. And so even if, even if you start just figuring out what your thing is, and I think that's another big part, is like, what do you add to society? Like, all of us have a gift that we can give, to help society. And so start thinking about that, because there are ways to ensure that you can live and take care of yourself. I don't care if it's you being a songwriter, a copywriter, a woodsmith, you really good with figuring out what kind of grass people got and how to keep weeds out of it. Like, there is something that you are good at, that will allow you to kind of charter your own path, so that if it ever comes to that, you can take care of yourself. And that's kind of the whole point of this conversation, is not saying, like, walk in there tomorrow and be like, fuck y'all, I quit. Like, I'm out. That's don't tell them Laura and Marlis told you to do that. Please, that's not what we're saying.
That we said that.
What we are saying is, number one, we need to turn some lights on. It's getting dark. But number two, that like, all of us have really good skills that we can lean on, so that if that day ever comes, you're not sitting up at night trying to figure out how to buy ramen for your baby.
That's right. You know what I mean?
That's real.
And I think that's what it is. I mean, and I feel like it's natural. I feel like we get, it's easy to get comfortable. You know what I mean? It's super easy to get comfortable. But also, I will say again, like, I'm in a very, like, open phase in life. Like, also doing this has made me tired. You know what I mean? Because I've been doing it full time for 4 years. So, like, I think it always comes down to what is going to be best for you. Right. And I think that shifts, and I think it changes over time. Like, what's good for you one day, in fall of, 2023 is not going to be what's best for you in spring 2025. Right. Like, so I feel like it is our responsibility to, as humans, evolve. Right. Like, that is what we do, and determine what season you're in and what that looks like for you, and doing what's best for you. I just think we always need an ace in the pocket.
I love that.
Like, an ace in the pocket. To it, like, we always need to move.
There it is.
Like, you can't have anyone tell you that you are not good enough, or that you can't work here anymore. Or that you don't have this skill, or you don't have that skill. Like, no, it's okay. Don't you worry. And
I love that you say you charted your own path, because they attempted to tell you what you couldn't do. I 100% love that. And crazy enough, like, that's one of the reasons I stepped out myself, was because they knew I could do it. I knew I could do it, but there were others who had better connections than I did. And so I was just like, okay, bet. Like, I'll go figure it out, on my own, because it's obvious that you see the value, I see the value, but if you aren't willing to give me the opportunity, I'll go create it for myself. So,
and
love
can
that.
I just want to say, like, I feel like that's why I'm so passionate about, like, this topic, right? Is because there was no one to, show me to do this or that, right? Like, the doors were not open for me in a way. And at this point, I feel like a trailblazer. Like, not like trying to be all high and mighty or anything, but like, I took the road less traveled, and there could honestly be negative consequences to that, right? Like, when I look at the span of life, like, I think sometimes we look at life like too quickly. But when you think of it over the span of a life, maybe over, you know, the course of my life, if I had worked for a corporation and if I had had a pension or something, I could have accumulated more wealth. Let's say. I don't necessarily know if that's the case or not, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like my spirit calls me to do things, you know what I mean? And I can't help what my spirit calls me to do.
That's right.
And, you know, and therefore, I really want to be able to talk to other women, to talk to other people, to talk to other people of color about what it looks like to have that ace in your pocket. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not saying quit your job. Don't quit your job. Keep your job. Keep your benefits, because those are valuable.
Seriously.
Okay, very valuable.
Seriously, yeah.
As someone who is like 30 something years old.
Come on, 30 something.
And I'm like experiencing health issues in a way that I haven't before.
Okay.
You know what I mean? At this age of my life,
yeah.
Like, health is very important,
yeah.
right? Like having those benefits. I have a private insurance plan that I pay for, but you know, it's different than like having a company that's going to pay for that, right? So
can we talk about like the history of healthcare being tied to your job?
Yes. So I will just tell you, I think that the next big fight that will be won in the United States is going to be universal health care.
It needs to be done.
It needs to be.
It needs to be done.
It needs to
be.
It 100,000% needs to be done.
There's no reason that we all pay taxes and my neighbor's baby can't go to the doctor if he breaks his arm. Like there is nothing in me that is opposed to us having a benefit that allows all of us to live a healthy life. Like and for people who are like, that's socialism. Well, remember, we just bailed all these banks out, and Yellow Trucking Company was living on bailouts for the last almost 15 years. So before you start screaming about me being a socialist, number one, I am.
Let's
start there. And number two, it's always capitalism for the poor and socialism for the rich. Like, remember that when you hear these people talking about how we can't have a universal health care plan, it works in other wealthy countries overseas every day.
It works.
Every day it works.
I was literally just in the UK in May, and I remember I was catching an Uber in London, and I ended up striking up a conversation with the Uber driver. And he was like, we started talking about freelancing. It came up, and he was like, yeah, you know, I'm a freelancer too, you know, I do this and I do that and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. And we were talking about healthcare. I was like, well, you know, the difference is y'all have universal healthcare over here. We don't have universal healthcare in the US. And he was like, we do, you know, I can't even.
He was like,
He was like, you know, it's not the best, but if I break my arm, I can go to the emergency room and I can be seen and I can be taken care of. And I think that in a country like this, I think that we are just so far behind not having that. I think we need it. And I think, you know, we got a lot of social issues to get through, you know what I mean, that we're debating in, you know, political spaces right now. But I think the next big fight that's going to happen that will be won will be universal health care.
And for that to happen, though, it would mean Big Pharma not making their record profits, because that's one of the reasons why, you know, healthcare is the way it is, right? Is that there are the few who continue to profit off the fact that, you know, we have to be tied to these jobs. We have to be tied to these prices so that we can have this healthcare that will, quote unquote, offset the price that's set by Big Pharma in the first place. There's no reason that what is it, the shot for people with allergies, what is it called? The EpiPen, right? Which costs, you know, maybe dollars to manufacture, is up in the hundreds and thousands of dollars when it gets to the actual consumer. But that is so that, you know, these insurance companies have a job. Right? It's quote unquote negotiating the price down when the price should have never been that high in the first place. So I'm with you. I think I love what's happening with the unions. And so shout out to the Teamsters who have been very active recently as far as making sure that their workers are really sharing in the profits of these very large corporations that they give their life and their time and their health and their, you know, their goodness to every day. I'm loving the resurgence of, my mom was a union worker, and so I got to see the union very up close and personal, even at a
Yeah.
very young child, as a very young child. And so I do know the power of collective bargaining. So I've never been part of a union, but I do really love to see what union workers are doing right now.
Well, you need to join the Freelancers Union.
Like, I mean, how I get on?
Freelancers Union is the largest independent union for independent workers in the country.
I love it.
Okay, representing more than 60 million independent workers. So
come on, y'all.
Join us.
I'm about to be part of the Freelancers Union. And because, yeah, I am officially a full-time freelancer now. I don't work for any one particular company, but rather spread my goodness. And that really sounds hoish, right? Good night. But I spread my goodness to the masses, whoever's willing to pay me what I'm asking for, and not make me lay my morals and my ethics down. So
that's part of it.
Good stuff. All right, y'all, we got to wrap up because we took a long time today. I want to give a shout out to 4152 Entertainment. They created a cocktail of the month for us. We did not drink it today because Laura's on wine. And I'm actually not here? Yeah, I got it, but it's tequila. I didn't think you wanted it.
I have a little bit.
You have okay.
I just taste it.
All right, so I'll put the recipe out, but y'all, it's tequila, pineapple juice, orange Red Bull, which I didn't even know existed.
Red Bull makes me nervous.
That's one of the reasons I was like, I'm gonna stay up off that. And you garnish it with the orange slice and a cherry.
Okay.
So yeah, I thought that was really cool. So shout out to 4152 Entertainment. And then I want to know, Laura, like, what you mad about this week? What has pissed you off so far this week?
Mad?
What you mad about? You ain't mad? I'm mad about stuff all the time.
I'm not mad. I'm happy.
You happy? What you happy about then?
Phase. I am, I'm just really happy with life, to be honest. I feel like I'm in a really good place. And like a good place doesn't mean that everything is as I want it to be. It just means my perspective on life is so full right now. You know what I mean? So like, I'm good. Like, I'm working out well. My body's looking good. You know what I mean? Like, I am, doing work that I care about.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I get to connect with people that I love.
I love it.
I'm so appreciative of my friends. You know what I mean? Friends, when we get older, are, it's a journey, right? Like, there's people that was with you that ain't with you no more. There's friends that are new friends that are like now with you. Like, these things bob and weave. But I'm like, when I look at the people in my life, I'm like, I love these people. These are my people, my tribe.
Love that.
So I'm happy,
I love that.
I look good. I smell good,
Come on, look good. And she does, y'all. All of the above.
I'm good. I feel like I'm happy. I'm not mad, girl. I'm not mad.
All of the above. I love that. And now you're making me feel bad for complaining, but
I
have.
What you mad at? Tell me, please.
So, God, all of the United States-based airlines, I'm pretty much mad at them at this point.
Okay.
Because I remember when, we were younger, like, say you got the opportunity to take a flight, right? My family didn't have money, so I would take a flight every so often. It was rare. Yep. But I do remember it just being more hospitable then. Like, if you were on a long haul flight, you got a meal, right? You got a blanket, all of that. Yeah. Now, you damn near got to fly the plane yourself to get where you want to go. Like, these airlines are like bare minimum, just basic fare. You paying for a seatbelt and a sip of water. So yesterday,
who you fly, girl? Who you fly? Come on, call him out.
I'm trying to figure out if I'm gonna call him out or not, because I'm trying to get my money back.
Call him out.
So yesterday, I went to LA, last minute trip. I wanted to see my grandmother. Plus, extended family was having a family reunion. So I was like, okay, it's kind of the perfect weekend to go.
Yep.
So I get out there, having a great time. I wanted to fly back yesterday because I knew I would be with you today. So I'm like, give me a day, right, to kind of get set up, get everything together so I'm not rushing. Yeah. So my flight was supposed to leave at 7 p.m. It started getting pushed back. And I'm like, all right. I'm thinking it's the Mojave Desert fires and the Nevada fires. That's the reason. So I'm like, all right, I'm giving them some grace. It got pushed back to 9. Then it got pushed back to 11. Then I got another email saying, no, we leaving at 7:45. Then I got another email that said 9. Then I got another email that said 11.
So you were starting last night, and then they pushed till this morning. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, what am I to do, right? The last time that happened, I ended up sleeping in the LAX airport.
Oh, no.
Yes. So I'm worried that I'm going to have to do the same thing at this point.
Yeah.
Here's where I really got offended and why I'm mad.
Yeah.
Because you know what they did to compensate us?
They gave you some free snacks in the little lobby.
They sent us a meal voucher, but guess how much it was for?
$20.
$7. What can you buy in the LAX airport
Nothing.
for $7?
Everything is $20.
A bottle of water is
a muffin.
$20.
$20. A bag of chips is $20.
I was offended. I was offended. And then as they continue to wait. At this point, I'm like, well, let me just go to the airport because they keep switching between 9 and 11. So I was like, let me just go to the airport. I get there.
And that was this morning.
That was last night. Yeah, so it was 9 p.m. and 11 p.m., which means say 11 p.m., I wouldn't get back till 4 a.m. this morning, Dallas time, Central time. So I'm like, all right, get to the airport. Then they send us another email talking about we're sorry.
Uh-oh. That's never a good start.
And they hand us a raggedy little $25 voucher for our next trip on the same airline that needs to be used before October 31st, 2023.
Yeah.
I'm mad.
Yeah.
I'm upset because I got in at 4 something this morning. Yep, hence why my video was very sleepy in the face this morning. But I also feel like it's because of the same stuff that we're seeing with Teamsters and these other companies where it's really about just cutting costs rather than operating at a level of just decency for your customers. And it was probably cheaper, and I've worked in finance, y'all. I can promise somebody was in a spreadsheet doing the math. Yeah. Is it cheaper to give everybody $25, $50 or to get a crew to this airport at this time and pay the crew and the pilots so that we can get these people where they need to go in a decent amount of time? Yeah. I can promise you they chose the cheaper option. And the cheaper option was probably give them $7 for a muffin or half of a muffin. Yeah. And $25 that they have to use on the same airline before October.
They only give you $25? That's a joke.
Oh, I'm going after my money, though.
You can keep that.
Because why would I even want to fly with you again?
What? $25 is not the taxes on a ticket.
That's right.
That's not even the taxes.
That's not even my bag fee.
That's not the bag fee.
Yeah, it's frustrating. So yeah, that's what I'm mad about today.
Okay, so I know what airline you flew, but we don't have to talk about that.
It could be one of few when you think about it.
But I know which one.
You know which one? What color are they?
We gonna let you get your money back.
Okay, and then we'll talk bad about it, and then we'll talk.
But
yeah,
yes, I agree with that. I'm just gonna say, and this is a general PSA that I think it's really important for businesses to do better, right? I think customers are demanding more, and I think the bare minimum is no longer enough. Yeah. Right? Like the bare minimum in the case of Yellow Corp, the bare minimum in terms of our airlines. Yeah. Like, I will pay twice as much for a place where I know where there's good customer service. That's right. And there's good product. That's right. Whatever that thing may be.
Just to keep the stress off of myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm going to go, here's going to be very pleasant. I'm willing to pay extra for that. Because I don't want to deal. Yep. I'm not haggling with you to then have a bad experience.
I'm with you.
Like, I'm not going to do it.
I'm with you. With you. All right, Laura, tell the people where to find you so we can get them out of here.
Laura K. Wise, everywhere you want to look.
Everywhere you want to find that girl.
Laura K. Wise.
Laura, ask for Laura K. Wise.
That's it. LAURAKWISE. That's it.
I love that. All right. IG, Twitter.
All of the places on the internet.
The thread spill you on there.
You can find me at Laura K. Wise.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you, Laura, for having me, and being with me. I got to see Laura at the Toast for Charity Sneaker Ball this past Friday, and we had a time.
We had a time.
Shout out to Lamar and the amazing work that they're doing over there. Cheers. And so we'll be back next week live with the amazing. He goes by Great Black Century, so that's what I'm gonna call him. But he's an incredible artist, y'all. Recording artist and visual artist. A lot of my artwork in my house actually came from him. Mm-hmm. He'll be sitting with me next week, and y'all continue to tune in because the lineup is fire.
Can I have 2 seconds?
2 seconds. Give it to him.
2 seconds is that I really just want to give you your flowers.
Thank
because I feel like, to your point, I've known you for 12 years.
Yeah.
And I feel like when we both ended up in Dallas, we got a lot closer. And I've just seen you grow and bloom, and you do this, and it's so professional. And I'm just so proud of you. I just want to say, like, you are absolutely amazing. You know, I was telling a friend the other day, I'm going quick, I promise. I was telling a friend the other day, I went to see Beyonce twice, y'all, so far. I got another show coming. But there was a point in the show where there was a screen that popped up, and it literally just said anointed. And I was like, yes, Beyonce is anointed. I think you're anointed.
Thank you.
To do this and to deliver this message.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
Yo.
I'm done.
You're going to make me cry. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yo, Laura, that means the world. Seriously. That means, and it's amazing that Laura is my first guest for the relaunch of the show, because Laura is the one who told me, like, yeah, like, don't write shit else for free. Don't write, like, and so, you know, to have someone pour into you like that, when, you know, a lot of times, like, I was raised by people who had 9-to-5 jobs, and don't quit that good job, girl. That's what I heard growing up. So to have someone pour into me who had no reason, right? No reason to really pour into me is a big deal. So thank you for saying that. And that I'm going to carry that with me. So as this show grows, and we are claiming that it is anointed, and that it will do what it's supposed to do for society and for the world. So
I trust it.
So yeah. All right, man. Well, we're going to get out of here. Thank y'all for joining us. Follow Laura at Laura K. Wise everywhere you want to look.
Everywhere.
She out here. She out here. And follow the Green Route at the Green Route Pod. Again, everywhere you want to look. Yeah, appreciate y'all being with us. And we'll be back next Wednesday at 7 p.m. with Great Black Century. So y'all tune in.
Nice.
Later.
All right. Bye.
Later. Boom, baby.
Okay, bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Yeah, I got to cut all these phones off now. Annette. Hi, Annette. Oh, we have 38 people.